Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the Finance and Administration Committee meeting on Thursday, February 15th, 2024. It is, in fact, 9:30 a.m., and I'm calling this meeting to order. As we gather this morning, we acknowledge on behalf of Council and our community that we are meeting on traditional territory of the First Nations. We thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. We are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Connie, has roll call been taken?
Through you, Chair, yes, roll call has been taken and we have quorum.
Thank you so much. And before we get going on our agenda, let's just thank HR and raise a glass to Andrea Patrick, our new Director of Community Services. Congratulations, Andrea. I know the chair took great pleasure in announcing that yesterday, and it was a special moment. And we have a birthday girl in the room, so let's all give a round of applause. Gwen Dombrowski, it's her birthday. So Gwen, I don't know how old you were 24 years ago, but Dave and I moved from Toronto to our farm 24 years ago on this day, on your birthday. We didn't know each other then, but you know, the thought was there. The day she was born. Yeah, exactly. Craig just said it was the day she was born. Yeah, she was 12. Yeah. What's that? No, there was not a fight. I heard that. All right, this side of the room needs to behave themselves. All four of you, I'm watching you. It's going to be a long F&A day. Is there any? Oh no, I have lost control. To our viewing public, I apologize. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? I see none. I'll ask for an adoption of the previous minutes held on January 18th, 2024 to get it on the floor, please. Moved by the member from Killaloe, Haggerty and Richards, second by the member from North Algona, Wilberforce. Were there any errors or omissions? I see none. I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. We have no delegations at this time, so I will turn it over to Mr. Kelly with the administration report, please.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning. My report starts on page 8. So 2 items of information before we go into the bylaws and resolutions. Item number 1 is a monthly report. I have not done this prior and thought I'd offer it up as an ongoing or at least a quarterly or semi-annual piece of information of what goes on. So not, or very similar to the wardens and perhaps even sometimes the chair's updates to committees that I would bring forward a list, I guess, of what's been going on in the administration office, at least my office, of how things are moving forward in terms of priorities and what's been going on. So I'm not necessarily going to go through them other than to say that January, like every other month, has been busy. Of course, dealing with Roma was the key takeaway, and of course, as we lean into February, committee week, and of course, the establishment of the new MESA project with other members of the senior leadership team. So I won't, again, it's there for your questions and your perusal, but maybe just by consensus, whether this is something committee would like to see regularly, how regular and otherwise, but we can talk about that when we come back through for discussion, Chair. And item number 2 is a communications report. Of course, Tina Poplinski is in the room with us today and is able to speak to this. This is largely her report, but we continue to make strides, as the report mentions, on communicating out to the public and to your municipalities. Communicators are main piece of information going out to your municipalities. Publicly, Tina's been busy with social media and ramping that up, but our media landscape is, of course, changing. The recent shift of focus with CTV across Canada is going to change the landscape a little bit. I understand that my broadcasting corporation has bought several CTV stations, the radio stations at least, so that will continue. CTV Ottawa, I believe, is keeping a lot of their staff, at least for some news broadcasts, so we'll still see Mr. Dyson, I'm sure, in the area. But we've also had chats, the ward and I and others, from our newspapers. There's now 3 community newspapers, regular newspapers in the area that write fulsome articles, notwithstanding the Pembroke Observer, who's diminished in size over the years, and Metroland, who pokes in a little bit. But these community newspapers have asked us to continue supporting them, as has radio stations in the area. So we've mentioned to them the struggling efforts we have with a diminishing budget, but we will work on rolling out new initiatives with them. But perhaps, Chair, either now or later, well, perhaps now, we'll ask Tina to run through a report and hit some highlights. Thanks, Chair.
Take it away, Tina.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Mr. Kelly, for the introduction. So as I've noted in my report, between April and December last year, I wrote and prepared 13 media releases on county-related topics and reviewed and distributed an additional 14 releases prepared by other departments. In that regard, I feel I have a pretty good rapport with many of the departments within the corporation, and I look forward to continuing to help them spread the word about important issues in their departments. Some of the topics of the releases range from the return of the Warden's Golf Tournament, which was quite a success. Also, the Summer Company program. I was able to attend the wrap-up event in Petawawa last summer, as many elected officials were as well. And these young people who put their heart and soul into their businesses throughout the summer were able to showcase their wares at the Petawawa Container Market, so that was exciting for everyone. Also, the Warden's Community Services Awards was an important release. I was able to prepare and highlight those people in the community, businesses, organizations that are doing great things, and also highlighting our AMO delegations. So then on social media, I'm still endeavoring to do daily posts, sometimes more, as I am able to share posts by other departments when I see them. So I have outlined my reach, the followers, and the percentage change in visits on Facebook and Instagram. I'm not able to provide as much detail with X, formerly Twitter, as we are not a verified account, so the analytics seem to be hidden from us. So I have highlighted some of the most popular posts as we go through the employee recognition program. The first installment, which was shared on social media, reached 27,000 accounts. Another important one was the Renfrew County Road Supervisor Association Operators Rodeo. That was very well received out in the community. And then, as you can see, there's a lot of important PSAs about different things in the community. Also, our hiring posts are well received. We had one for Bonashare Manor Administrative Assistant, which reached 15,000 accounts. Another one for the Inclusion Coordinator Community Services reached 13,000 accounts. And I've highlighted them, and as I mentioned, trying to be sort of a trusted source in the community for this information. We had some posts about the restricted fire zone. If we think back to last spring with the forest fires and things like that, those were well received. Instagram posts, I've outlined those as well. So we had some messaging about trying to identify who had set the forest fires in Centennial Lake. That received a lot of views on Instagram, as well as a post we had done about an unfortunate incident of graffiti on a safety message on County Road 65, which unfortunately I do believe happened a second time, if I recall. And then I've also highlighted the YouTube stats, which you can see here between April and December. The total views was just over 6,600, and I've highlighted the location of the views as well, which before the question of the Hanoi Vietnam anomaly, I'm assuming that it has something to do with something I've noted down near the bottom of a lot of views are from suggested suggestions appearing along the side of other videos, so perhaps people are just clicking on those and wondering what's happening in Renfrew County. So that's the only thing I can attribute that to. And I've also noted some of the top views as far as our videos and meetings. And the top one, as you see here, was the one with the presentation of the Warden's Community Service Awards. And this day in the life of Miramichi Lodge from 2013 is hanging around, and people seem to still be clicking on that as well. So interesting for me to see what is getting the attention of people. And I think I will leave it there, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Tina. I thought maybe the Hanoi, Vietnam was a VPN router.
I don't have that sort of detail, but
Yeah.
it was strange to me, but it came up, so I don't know.
Look at all that technology that Jen knows. What's that? No. Do you have anything?
So, no, those are the two information items, Chair.
Wonderful. So we will go back to information item number 1 on Craig's report. Comments, questions, concerns? I like this. I like it a lot.
Monthly, quarterly?
Yeah.
What would you like, Chair?
Maybe quarterly, unless something is burning. I think if you have something to report that's timely. But no, I liked it though. Anything on item number 1? Number 2, communication report. Member from Amherst Bromley, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you through you to Ms. Poplinski as well. I certainly had been intrigued at Hanoi. I had just assumed it was that we are such an exemplary governance model here at the County of Renfrew that it might have been perceived as such. Of more interest, though, is curiously, Renfrew and Deep River are the only 2 intra-county locales in that list at all. And all of the other views are from outside of the County of Renfrew, which is kind of interesting. At this point, probably you can glean no insights from that, but I found it interesting just the same, Madam Chair.
I thought perhaps you were going to be upset as the chair of health that you weren't on the most viewed.
I don't think you can know that, actually. I don't think it has it broken down, does it?
All right, then. If there's nothing else. Oh, I'm sorry, member from North Algona, and then Killaloo.
Thank you, Chair, and through you again to Ms. Poplinski. Thank you so much for the updates and, of course, the reports in, I want to mention particularly the County Council summaries and what a valuable piece of information that has become for my council and staff as well. That really gives a nice overview of what happens at the county, and have really appreciated that information on a going forward basis. Thank you.
I couldn't agree more. I'm so glad you brought that up, because what you've done is you've précised it so beautifully that it's digestible without overwhelming people that want to read it when it goes into our correspondence at our local tiers. Good note. Member from Killaloo, Haggerty and Richards, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just wanted to compliment Tina on just a great job, and she certainly has a handle on what's going on in the world, and we can only see every bucket is increasing in volume, and I think that's our future. Just to address Councillor Bro's comment, maybe each municipality could put a tag on their actual website so that it would be followed by the people of the specific municipalities. Like we've incorporated the weather reports on our Facebook page. So as soon as we get a hit, it goes on our site also. So maybe sharing is a way to increase the volume or viewers in each local municipality.
Ours is hypertext in my report. So if you go to our agenda and you click, Tina's link comes up. I know, right? I'm really showing off this morning. I wish IT was in the room today. Oh yeah, sorry. Hi, Tyson. Yes, Tyson is. Tyson, are you impressed? Oh yeah. Yes, go ahead, Tina.
Through you, Chair, to the committee, I appreciate the feedback, especially on the communique, because I do put quite a lot of work into that, and I just received another comment from the mayor of Head Clare and Mariah yesterday about how much she appreciated it, and I've received those comments from many around the table, so I do appreciate that it is getting out there, and I think as I go on, I'm getting better at knowing sort of what to highlight, especially for the local municipalities, and make it easy, and so you do know what's happening here at the county. And also to Councillor Mayville, I appreciate your comment about sort of sharing. That is an important feature, and I do know a lot of municipalities, especially with the significant weather and other sort of disaster or emergency messaging that I put out, a lot are sharing, so that certainly does help, and I appreciate that. And it's not noted here, but I am endeavoring to sort of get a group together of all of the people at the local municipalities who are looking after social media to sort of just kind of share some ideas and things like that. I've started that with the help of Ms. Marquardt through her OVED Partners group, but I do plan to reach out to all the local municipalities and sort of get a group together that we can meet on a sort of semi-regular basis, or at least just kind of know who's doing the social media, so we can talk about sharing and things like that, because it is important, especially in those emergency situations. So thank you very much, Chair.
Excellent notes. And yes, as soon as I see the email from you that you send to County Council telling us that there's a significant weather event, I go straight to the County of Renfrew Facebook page, because with our unusual boundaries of our municipalities, it's easier just to throw that out that it's the whole county, so that James and I don't have to then, like, we share, they horseshoe around us. So it's far easier just to throw that message out, and then people know it's county-wide. It's very helpful. Yeah. And I mean, God love you for doing the communique, because you've got to get through the warden's address and break that all down. All right, if that's all on information, Mr. Kelly, we'll move on to bylaws, please.
Thank you, Chair. The next four bylaws are more or less a housekeeping item stemming from the budget discussions and reports that you had, but let's start with the first one. Item number 3 is a council remuneration bylaw, and the recommendation is that the Finance and Administration Committee recommend that County Council adopt the revised bylaw for remuneration of members of the Council of the County of Renfrew, effective January 1st, 2024, at the February session of County Council.
Thank you. I'll get a mover and seconder to have it on the floor, please. Moved by the member from Laurentian Hills, seconded by the member from Killu, Haggerty, and Richards. And a little background, please.
Absolutely, Chair. So the background is there as written, but you'll note back in 2022, the Council of the Day had a report on council remuneration, and there was a stated increase that was to occur, but the council, again, of the day decided to phase that in over 4 years, so this is year 2 of that phase-in. So the bylaw would update those amounts for warden and councillor, and as well with the COLA increase for non-union staff as per employment bylaw number 1. The bylaw for remuneration also states that county council shall be subject to the same COLA increase. So this bylaw takes care of those 2 items.
Thank you. Comments, questions, discussion? Member from Abbotston Bromley, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Mr. Kelly, probably more a procedural question. If there is a resolution that was adopted by council that this be phased in over 4 years, do we have to each year be agreeing to it again?
The bylaw, through you, Chair, the bylaw would have to be updated regularly for COLA at least anyways, and then the amounts would have to be updated for council. So yes, unless there was authority delegated to the CAO or clerk to update this as you know, by route, if you will.
Sorry, because I voted against this last year, so I'm not sure where I sit on it now, and that Mayor Donohue's question is very interesting. Did you have a supplementary?
No, just to note that all of my questions are interesting.
Yeah, we've gone down a rabbit. I hope people are enjoying watching this if they're watching it today. No? The warden put on his snazzy blazer today, so now he's feeling all cheeky over there. Okay, anything further? All in favor? And that moves to County Council. All right, number 4.
Thank you, Chair. So number 4 and number 5 are similar in nature, but with the strategy core document that was received and endorsed as part of the budget process moving forward into 2024, there was a realignment of duties for the clerk and deputy clerk in that I would be shifting out of the clerk role into the deputy clerk role, and Ms. Dombrowski would be shifting from the deputy clerk role into another role that would include clerk. So, with that said, item number 4 is a bylaw to appoint a deputy clerk. That the Finance and Administration Committee recommend that County Council approve that Craig Kelly be appointed as deputy clerk for the County of Renfrew, and further that the bylaw to appoint a deputy clerk for the County of Renfrew be adopted at the February session of County Council.
Thank you. May I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by the member from Amherst Bromley, second by the member from North Algona Wilberforce. Background. Well,
I think I kind of covered it.
We really have covered it,
Yep.
yeah. Over and over and over again. Discussion. Sorry, Jason looked like he wanted to say something. I was. You're okay?
He wants to be deputy clerk, apparently.
It was like he was going to chime in, so I didn't know what to do. All right, if there's no discussion, all in favor. And number 5, oh, Warden, I think you made a mistake making me chair this year. I don't know what's going on here.
Item number 5, Chair, is a bylaw to appoint a clerk. As aforementioned, that the Finance and Administration Committee recommend that County Council approve that Gwen Dombrowski be appointed as clerk for the County of Renfrew, and further that the bylaw to appoint a clerk for the County of Renfrew be adopted at the February session of County Council.
Thank you. I'll ask for a mover and seconder, please. Moved by the member from Killaloe, Haggerty and Richard, seconded by the member from Deep River. And we've heard the background. I'm not sure if this is a birthday gift or curse for Gwen, but all in favor. Congratulations, Gwen. I don't know. All right. And finally.
Item number 6, Chair and Committee, is the bylaw to appoint a treasurer. I'll do the background after. That the Finance and Administration Committee recommend that County Council approve that Daniel Burke be appointed as the treasurer for the County of Renfrew, and further that the bylaw to appoint a treasurer for the County of Renfrew be adopted at the February session of County Council.
Thank you. And yes, member from, no, you're going to move it? Fabulous. Moved by the member from Deep River, seconded by the member from North Algona Wilberforce. Again, I don't know. Daniel, is it a congratulations? I don't know. Go ahead, Craig.
Just a bit of the background again, with the redefining of roles. The treasurer position, again, stemming from the strategy corp document and the conversations through the budget period, the treasurer role would shift to the manager of finance and away from the director of corporate services, who will be focused on strategic objectives for the corporation along with the CAO.
Thank you. And I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Excellent. And we can take the word acting out of Daniel's title. I am being told that currently we have 10 viewers on YouTube and 1 is from Vietnam. So thank you for those statistics.
That concludes my report, Chair.
Thank you. That was late breaking news. All right, can I have a mover and seconder for the report as a whole, please? Moved by the warden, seconded by the member from Laurentian Hills. All in favor? And that carries. And now we will move to Mr. Burke with the Corporate Services report, please.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Committee. The Corporate Services report begins on page 20. The first information item is attached is the 2024 final budget. It is also posted on the website in both PDF and Excel versions. Item number 2 is the AMO Statement of Remuneration for the 2023 year, attached as Appendix 2. Item number 3 is the County Council remuneration for the 2023 year, attached as Appendix 3. Item number 4 is just a note that this month we do not have provincial offences workload statistics due to a technical issue with the ministry. Item number 5 is a note from the Health Committee that they are recommending the reallocation of some capital funds from one project to another inside Bonisher Manor, as well as a purchase under the sole source provisions of the purchasing bylaw. And with that, Chair, that's it for information items.
Thank you. So we'll go back to information item number 1, the final budget. Dave Mayville, that blue is a hyperlink. You got, now you get it, yeah. To the AMO statement of remuneration. I was very confused by this. It has my name, and then it's 0, but I'm not on AMO.
Through you, Chair, I think AMO feels that you are on their board somehow, so they're producing reports.
Oh, that's very...
That's, if I could, Chair, through to you. So, as I believe it to be true, and Daniel might fix me or fix my opinion, Roma is paid for through AMO, right? Because Roma is whenever we get invoices and otherwise from Roma, quote unquote, it is an AMO invoice, or it funnels through AMO. So that's probably why, because you're on Roma.
But it's 0. Oh, Peter's got the... Go ahead, Warden. Please explain.
What happens is AMO provides a service to Roma, and if you notice in the budget, there's a percentage that's...
Yeah.
And so their administration is, but there should be a separate report coming for Roma expenses.
Okay.
But you are tracked under AMO.
Good to know I'm tracked. No, but it was weird that it was 0. That was where I lost the thread, yeah. All right, number 3, council remuneration. Member for Mammoth Bromley, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, if we could, and it just got triggered by the warden's response, which certainly makes eminent sense, but nowhere on here does it make reference to Roma, either on the covering email or on the chart. So I'm curious if AMO is sending us this, why it would not include the warden, who is a direct member of the board for AMO.
You're twice a member of that board, though.
Yeah, I'm a different kind of cat. And so, yeah,
You are that.
Yeah.
You are that.
So,
yeah.
yeah, there should be some clarification coming, because we have asked for a more detailed reckoning from AMO, and I think part of what Mr. Kelly has said is accurate, is that it's a point in time, and they issued it, I think, January the 15th or something, asking for all the expenses to be in. So there will probably be an update in February or even March. I fortunately had all my expenses in early, which is quite unusual. So
I don't believe him at all, but okay. But yeah, no, but you're on AMO because you're on the Rural Caucus, but you're also on AMO because you're the chair of EOWC.
yes.
Yes. You are a different cat.
Chair,
all right.
Chair, if I could we're just busy communicating with Gwen here a little bit. So part of what our obligations are with AMO and Roma is that we, and it's been quite the chore, to assemble expenses allocated to Roma and AMO, and then send them off to that organization, because currently we're paying for you to be there through the per diems, and then we get reimbursed back from AMO and Roma. So I think that's, again, the point in time. We're still waiting for that reconciliation back from that organization.
Yes, I'm sure our Roma conference expenses were just a treat for you. Part of them coming through Bonisher Valley, through me, up here to Roma and back. Yeah, God love you. All right, anything else on our remuneration? Member from Amherst Bromley.
Just to be clear, though, I don't think the CAO is talking about the Roma conference expenses. I think he was talking about, are there per diems for board members that are paid, remunerated to the individual councillors by the county and then are reconciled and reimbursed from AMO. This is for participation on the board of directors, correct?
Through you, Chair, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Provincial offenses workload. I guess, Ashley, we will revisit this next month. Health Committee, the reallocation of capital funds. I see none. Then, Mr. Burke, we'll move on to bylaws, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'm actually going to pass that over to Mr. Belmore.
Thank you, Chair, and through you to the committee. So before you, we have employment bylaw number 1. Recommendation that the Finance Administration Committee recommend that County Council approve the following changes to the non-union staff salary grid within employment bylaw number 1. 1, removal of the following positions: data entry clerk in Group 1, fundraising coordinator in Group 2, accounting clerk finance in Group 5, executive assistant / deputy clerk in Group 7, prosecutor in Group 8, manager of finance in Group 10, reclassification of the following positions: laborer from Group 1 to Group 2, construction supervisor from Group 7 to Group 8, creation of the following positions: help desk support in Group 4, manager of legislative services / clerk in Group 9, manager of finance / treasurer in Group 12, and renaming of the following position: director of corporate services / deputy treasurer in Group 17, and further that the revised employment bylaw number 1 be adopted at the February session of County Council.
Thank you. May I have a mover and seconder to get it on the floor, please? Moved by the member from North Elgin Wilberforce, seconded by the member from Killaloe, Haggerty, and Richards. A little background, please.
For sure. So there's essentially 3 different sets of changes on the bylaw, some resulting from the January 2024 budget workshop, some as a result of County Policy B04 classification review system adjustments, and the results of some housekeeping exercises. So I'm sure as Council is aware, in the budget workshop in January of 2024, essentially, and Craig's already done it in his report, but the removal of the executive assistant and deputy clerk position and leading to the creation of the manager of legislative services / clerk position. Removal of the manager of finance being switched now to the manager of finance / treasurer, and renaming of the director of corporate services. County Policy B04 allows employees to request reviews of their job descriptions where they believe there's been significant changes. We had a number of those brought forward in December, and as a result of amendments to job descriptions and rescoring using our job evaluation tool, which calculates the point system that allocates positions on our pay grid, warranted movement on the pay grid for the following 2, so the laborer position and the construction supervisor position. And then there's some housekeeping changes that, due to organizational changes over the last few years, some positions we should have removed or added over the course of time, so they're listed below. And I'll just run quickly through the bylaw. There's a few other changes on it that I'll bring to folks' attention. In Section 7 of the bylaw, which is the early retiree benefits section, you can see we've struck out the changes from previous years, just as a housekeeping item to keep it clean and clear and to reflect what the actual early retiree benefits package currently is. We've also added a new point number 2, which is the cost of living allowance. This is the August 2023 resolution, essentially the County Council passed before the creation of the budget, and putting it into the bylaw so that it can be used on a go-forward basis. We've also modified in Part 4 the safety footwear allowance to increase it from $275 for full-time employees to $300, and it's half value for part-time employees. This is to bring it in line with the current rates that are in place with the Renfrew County Housing Corporation QP 4425 collective agreement. We've also made in Article 5 the adjustment date a change to remove it from reading January 1st of a year to pay period number 1 of a year. So a couple of things to point out here. So this is to help make it an easier practice for our payroll department. If January 1st isn't the first day of a pay period and it falls somewhere in between, we don't actually have the ability with our existing software to track the days before and after. We get a total number of hours in a pay period, so it creates a whole extra exercise of prorating. So to make it just effective for the whole pay period, it's a lot simpler for us to actually process. And I'll point out too that pay period number 1 for this year actually covered the last 15 days of 2023 calendar year, but because it doesn't get paid until January 5th of 2024, so it's essentially on the T4 calendar year as opposed to the calendar year, if that makes sense. We also added in Article 6 enforcement in general, 5.1 section, which is for the actual pay adjustment will take place in pay period number 1, and any of the reclassifications that we've just talked about will come into effect after the adoption of the bylaw at County Council. So any changes to folks' positions will happen February 28th, assuming it passes a council. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, you've heard the background. Any discussion? All in favor? Excellent. The report as a whole, may I have a mover and seconder, please? Moved by the warden, seconded by the member from North Algona Wilberforce. Anything further? I see none. All in favor? Alrighty then. Is there any new business? I see none. We have no closed, correct?
That remains correct.
Thank you. The date of our next meeting is Thursday, March 7th. Remember that because it's early. Apparently, even those of us without small children get March break off, which I really... What?
I do have an item of new business, but I can, it's not written, but if we can verbalize it now and then either seek a recommendation from this committee or not, but just because of a conversation I had yesterday afternoon with yourself and the warden. Would you
Surely.
mind a little?
Yeah, no,
okay,
I think,
great.
yes,
Thank
that
you.
would be excellent. Thank you.
Sorry, Chair. and
No,
sorry, committee.
no.
So we're reviewing calendars and trying to align things. And in June, the warden and chair are off to a Roma meeting in Thunder Bay on the day after F&A. That day, the day of F&A.
I'm sorry, the day of Health Committee and Community Services. We leave on the Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, that's...
Thunder Bay is beautiful that time of year.
I'm sure it is. And this is in June. So at least for this committee, we missed it yesterday for those two committees, we'd be seeking to move that date and looking for alternates. And so we'd be missing 2 members of the F&A that day, including the chair. So, I mean, there's procedural allowances, of course, and this is where we all get tripped up, is, in the procedure, at least for committees, at the call of the chair can move it in consultation with the CAO, can move it to a different day, but I just wanted to get consensus from committee if moving it to another day was okay.
Can I just ask, Gwen, do you know when we leave? We don't have a county chopper, no. Yet. Because if we don't leave until later in the afternoon, it doesn't matter for health and community services, although that would only be missing the warden.
I will again remind committee and the chair, I don't know your agenda for that day, and I don't know the agenda for the committee. There is also the options for remote attendance at any committee. So this is
that's
the conversation.
difficult when we're trying to do the business of Roma.
I absolutely understand.
And at our spring meeting, we actually work the entire time. Yes.
Through you, Madam Chair, is there concern for quorum? Like, I don't know where we benchmark whose absence is going to warrant moving the meeting.
Remember, on this committee, we are missing Val, and I'm not sure when she's back.
She had sorry, through you, there's a 3-month absence, so June potentially will be back. There's a committee of 8, you're down to 6, maybe 5 potentially. The quorum is still maintained with the current people. And your vice chair is Val, I believe, too, right?
It is. But
that's fine.
Yeah.
We have provisions to appoint a chair or a presiding officer anyways with that.
My option would be to move
yeah.
it to the following Monday, but I will leave it up to,
Mr. Burke reminds me that June is the time when we review the audited financial statements as well.
oh,
So it would, just, we brought, again, at the whim of council.
okay. Would anybody on this committee be, would you be okay with moving it to Monday, I think it's the 18th? 17th, thank you. Oh, thanks, Gwen. She's got an answer for me.
You're leaving on Wednesday at 9:55, your flight.
In the morning?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Well, no, it's only, well, the warden and I won't be here for health committee, but and the warden won't be here for community services, but that doesn't, I wouldn't affect your committee.
Yeah, I just bring this up because you're the chair of this meeting, or of this committee, and I know you may have an absentee vice chair, but I mean, this is I bring it to your attention whether you want to seek consensus or move ahead with the meeting with someone else in your chair.
Just erring on the side of caution, could we move it to the Monday? Does that conflict with, I'm getting a lot of nods, so that's good. What do I need for that, Craig? Nothing? No?
Nothing.
We're
No,
good?
No, it's not a
Okay.
council meeting, it's a regular meeting. So.
And that, so as long as health committee has quorum without the warden and I, everything's good. And then community services, it shouldn't affect.
Okay, we'll make the amendment to your calendars for June 17th,
Yes.
from June the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. Gives everybody lots of time. All right. And now I'll ask for an adjournment, please. Moved by the member from Amaston Bromley, second by the member from Laurentian Hills. All in favor? And we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.